This is going to touch base on concepts that you can look at when writing your essay. It does not, I'm not reviewing the whole film. If you haven't watched the film, asseblief make sure you watch it before you write your essay on Thursday. We're going to start off with going through the structure and how to kind of approach it. Very basic, you'll see, and some tips for Thursday, and then afterwards, we'll look at some additional resources that you can access to kind of prepare, as well as what the IEB's assessment guidelines, curriculum guidelines is saying about what is expected. So far, you cannot bring anything in other than your brain into the session, and it is going to be written in class time. The minimum word count that I'm allowing you is 250 words, so that's not a lot. So if you are someone who just wants to get to the point and make sure you don't want to chorrel, you don't want to babble on, then stick to 250 to 300. That's more than enough. Just make sure you've touched base on the concepts taught today or revised today. If you are someone who's got a lot to say about the film, please keep in mind that we are marking it one by one still. We haven't reached the point where I can, well, hopefully soon, pull in your essays into AI and let AI give you feedback. Maybe I will try that today. You never know. Or not today, Thursday. That will make my life much easier, and I'm sure you. On the topic of ChatGPT or AI, I asked AI today, or yesterday actually, to kind of give me an idea on how to approach this revision lesson. And it really gave me a good structure to go along with. Obviously, I edited it. I took some stuff away. I changed some stuff. And you know what? I am so objective, or so positive about using AI. I really don't think it is such a sin. And I think if you prompt it correctly, if you say to AI, for instance, listen, I'm a grade 12 student, Afrikaans is my second or third language, I need to structure some sort of essay in class time without having to take it in. I need to kind of do it. How would you suggest I go about doing this? The topics of discussion is this, this, and this, and you give them the film techniques that we've discussed and the words, and you're saying it has to be in Afrikaans. Give me a framework to study in my mind and to take in that I can build. And that's kind of what I did here today as well. So use AI, ask AI to help you. Why not? I don't want you to study a whole essay and just blab that on the paper. That's not what I'm saying. No, I'm saying use AI towards your advantage here in an ethical manner. The aim is to test whether you can use Afrikaans to explain how you understand the film. And your opinion is valid. If you say pink means love, then you can explain why the scene is full of love, then sure, that's fine. If you're going to say pink means danger, I'm going to question your reasoning, because according to our color schemes, that's not really what the color means. So revise basic things like that as well. Again, the objective of this lesson is simply to kind of guide you in structuring your essay on Thursday and using the relevant language, Afrikaans, yes, but the language, the vocab that we've worked with, and utilize that. Kom ons begin. Ballade Vir Enkeling is 'n film en daar op die skerm sien ons een van die hoofkarakters of een van die karakters met die naam van Lena, and I kind of introduce this to you as an introduction. So obviously your introduction will look a little bit different content wise, but this is kind of the length, perhaps a little bit longer, perhaps a little bit shorter, depending on what you want to say, of an introduction or a opening scene statement. So I said, for instance, because this is a different situation, I'm not writing an essay for you, I'm presenting a lesson. So my introduction looks like this. Kom ondersoek die verdwyning. Where's my little red button? There it is. I think like is a pointer. Kom ondersoek die verdwyning van Jacques, die bekroonde skrywer, Vind saam met Karina, die joernalis, die pad na waarheid en delf diep vir vergifnis en vind en aanvaar jou innerlike enkeling. Nou hier het ek vir julle die woorde in geel gehighlight that I think is important. They are an element of ondersoek, that ondersoek meaning discover, and that you might find in your test on Thursday or your assignment on Thursday or in any other assignment in Afrikaans. You'll find that word often. Come discover. Let's discover together. So kom ons ontdek, kom ons ondersoek. Let's investigate is another word for it. Nee. So maybe ondersoek and ontdek can be two good words in terms of instruction words to learn for yourself. Ondersoek die verdwyning van Jacques. And in that small sentence there, I established that something of the plot, some bit of the plot in the story, that don't I? Nee. Because wat gebeur in Ballade Vir Enkeling? Ballade Vir Enkeling gaan oor 'n jong man wat verdwyn toe hy 'n prys moes ontvang. So he's a renowned writer wat verdwyn het. He went missing. So I give the audience, my audience, I'm giving you a little bit of insight into the storyline by just doing that. Die verdwyning of Jacques, die bekroonde skrywer. That was the first instruction. Then I instruct, your introduction doesn't have to be necessarily instructing me to read it. Yours, I will talk about that now, but this is how I approach this way. The next instruction says, vind saam met Karina die joernalis. So part of what we are looking at in an analysis is, do you know the characters and their roles they are playing? So remember, Karina is the journalist. So Karina, come find with Karina, die joernalis, die pad na waarheid. And now I'm starting to touch on a theme. One of the themes of Ballade is finding the truth. En delf diep, and I use those words specifically because delf is very similar to delve, and deep sounds like deep. So very important that I always tell you guys, wat ek altyd vir julle sê is, gebruik woorde wat jy in Engels kan connect mee. Afrikaans has evolved in such a way that we actually have accepted words now that are very much sounds like English. Because, hoekom nie? So, delve deep vir vergifnis. Another theme of the story. Finding forgiveness or forgiving oneself, forgiving your neighbor, forgiving your person in your life. En vind en aanvaar, find and accept jou innerlike enkeling. Now this, I don't know, just to tell you, this wasn't written by AI, I wrote this. This is what as ek nou moet spog, dan moet ek nou vir julle sê, hierdie is baie oulik geskryf, want it touches on four things. It brings in the assignment. So let's say your assignment was investigate the character development in this scene. Then you in your intro, or in this essay, you must investigate it. Your intro can have your statement in it. You can say, we are investigating the characters in the following paragraph. So whatever you want to say. What I'm saying is use your assignment words in your intro. You can. You don't have to use all of them, but use the instruction or use the action that they ask you to do in your intro and make that part of your statement in your introduction. So I'm touching on the statement I'm making. We are investigating the disappearance of Jacques. Then I'm touching on one of the characters, and you can include more characters. We've touched two characters, Jacques and Karina, who are kind of mainly the main characters. So obviously, if the scenes pertain to, or if the question pertains to all the characters, then you can say die verdwyning van Jacques en sy vriende Lena en Jan Paul op net hulle soeke na identiteit. They're not looking for identity, that's not a theme, but you know what I'm saying, né? Well, there is a theme when they were younger. So you can include the characters. So I've touched this, I made a statement that we are investigating this. I'm making reference to the characters. Die pad na waarheid, come find the road to truth. So now I'm starting to touch on the themes, truth and forgiveness. And then I go further and I say, and go and find your inner Enkeling. And Enkeling, remember that references back to the theme of the movie. And the whole movie is about a ballad for a lone person. Not a lonely person, someone who is fine to be alone. Okay, so we all have inside of us, we are all one person. There's not two people, unless, I mean, sometimes in my head, I speak to myself, not sometimes, all the time. I'll say, Donnie, don't do that. Nee, Donnie, jy moet nou opstaan. Nee, Donnie, jy moet nou, onthou net, die mense kom nou 10 uur, jy moet, you talk to yourself. That's not, I'm not talking that that's another person. That's obviously still you. But we all have that single person in us that maybe is okay to be sometimes alone by ourselves. It's fine. Some people like to be alone more by themselves more often than others. So kom ons vind en aanvaar ons innerlike enkeling. And by doing that, you engage your audience and you say to the audience, and the audience goes, I want to read this essay. I want to read this essay. Yours doesn't have to start with a verb, but I'm not going to disqualify you if you have a similar structure in yours, just replacing, maybe touching on the essay's statement or the essay's question, that the assignment that I'm giving you. Okay. Enige vrae tot dusver? Cool. Kom ons gaan aan. As ons kyk wat belangrik is in jou essay, what is important to include in your essay on Thursday? I would say it narrows down to this. Die karakters, maak seker jy weet hoe hulle name te spel. Jacques, Lena, Jan Paul, Karina, and Gavin are your main ones that you might bring into your essay. Onthou, you don't have to use their surnames. Just use their noemname and then that's that. Nee. Know who's who. Jacques is this guy. Hy is die enkeling. Hy is die persoon wat verdwyn. En almal is headline news, waar's Jacques Reinhardt? En die hele storie draai oor hom. En die hele storie is amper half 'n ballade vir 'n enkeling, nee, vir hom. Lena is sy liefde van sy lewe en sy is ook die persoon wat sy voorblad van sy boeke geskilder het. They have a very special bond from young. They've got a very special bond. And from young, van kindsbeen, vandat hulle mekaar ontmoet het when they were 15, she had more of a thing for him than for Jan Paul. So their relationship is a bit complicated. No, it's not so much just straightforward. And now you can start thinking the betrayal between these two that has happened. Now we're starting to touch on another theme that I didn't even include here, and that is verraad, betrayal. So so just so that you know, Matrix, you obviously can use the other themes that I've pointed out as well, most definitely. These are just kind of, I'm giving you like, this is the basic. If you do this and you stick to this, you'll pass, basically. Verstaan? If you do this very well, you'll do very good. If you add more of that we've done and you can analyze more, then obviously you'll get your 80 plus. So keep that in mind. But this is a solid structure for you. So you can start thinking about and write down the themes or the characters, symbol or the relationship status between these two. It's complicated, it's gecompliseerd en natuurlik it touches on the tema van betrayal, verraad. Jan Paul is hier as a young seun. There's other pictures of him as an older person later. Remember, he was this quirky, happy, awkward kind of guy who probably wouldn't have gotten the girl. And with the unfortunate event of a series of unfortunate events, he, in a moment of fear, vrees, which is another theme of the story, he swapped the guns so that he's not going to be the one to be in trouble. And in the process, got the girl, but not for long. And it had very unfortunate ending for him. Mental health is another theme that comes up, né? Karina, hier's Karina, sy is die joernalis en sy is die simbool van die waarheid. Sy is op soek na die waarheid en sy het ambisie. Sy wil beter wees as 'n skinnerbek. Sy wil nie gaan smat soek vir oor Jacques nie. Sy wil die waarheid vind. En as Jacques skuldig is, great, dan skryf sy hy is skuldig. Maar as hy onskuldig is, dan wil sy dit vir die wêreld vertel. En dan natuurlik die antagonis is Gavin of Gert. Remember, he changed his name because he's such a baddie. Okay, and hy's nie, there's it's his shoulder sticking out. Yeah, remember that scene where she approaches him in the office and he's ugly to her, but he stands there pumping iron. You know, very narcissistic, very terrible, very greasy, very slimy. He just represents the antagonist, basically. So characters is important to know and how they can contribute to the storyline, their character growth, their relationships, their relationships between each other and their roles and their motives. You can also include, if you want, motives. Yeah, okay, we'll you know, there's so much you can talk about. I mean, I'm just narrowing it down. You can also use film technique in your essay. Obviously, I've listed 4. If there's others that I didn't list here, you can include that. Camera hook, I think, is the easiest one because you can say a camera hook, oogvlak camera hook, an eye-level camera angle includes the viewer into that scene and make it personal. And that's all. You don't have to babble on, and it does this, and it does that. No, man, just say the medium shot gives us a perspective of the whole picture, and that allows us to play be a voyeur or a third party look into the scene or whatever the case may be. So again, I reiterated in class as well. Go write some possible sentences down for yourself that you can remember. That's how you prepare for Thursday. You go and remember what you want to say if this happens. What if the scene is that? What if the camera angle does this? What am I going to say? We've done the camera angles that you can use in class. And there's nothing weird that I'm not going to give you a camera angle that's completely off the topic that we've discussed. Belichting, make sure you can understand, jy verstaan, belichting, helder lig, which floods the scene, possibly gives the idea that it's an overwhelming moment, or it is an unnatural situation they're in. Go ask ChatGPT. Go say to ChatGPT, what would be, give me 5 possible lighting effects. What is the effect of bright light, natural light, unnatural light? And translate it into Afrikaans via ChatGPT and study it. Okay. Mise en scene, the whole picture, how it's been put together. The person is standing there, the fridge is standing here, the microwave is here. What does that mean? We're in the kitchen. Why is this microwave and the fridge like this? Because it gives us the sense that we are busy cooking or whatever. You know, I'm just making it up. So again, mise en scene, it's how the whole picture has been like a puzzle piece put together visually, and what can be the and in mise en scene you can refer to belichting and to color schemes and to, you know, characterization. Mise en scene includes the faces of the character. So if we look at this scene with Karina, it's a over the shoulder shot with the skouer of an eye level shot, and you can see the disdain or the almost like the disrespect, die tekort aan begrip comprehension of this boss of hers, nee, and how the side, die kantbeligting, gives us a sense of seriousness. It adds dramatische effect. It's very dramatic scene, that mos, because this guy is weird. Yeah, okay, you know what I mean. Clunk, if you can remember if there was sound in that scene, then add something about clunk. A thing that I didn't include possibly here was color scheme. So just add that for your clear schema. This is all in black and white now, but color schemes can contribute. Especially, you'll see that Lena often wears red. But the color rooi is represents so many things. It's danger. It's the cross of the medical team, medicine or medical hospitals, because in wartime, if you see a Red Cross, you don't bomb there. Of course, there are rules when you have war, and there are rules with love. Love is a very dangerous thing because you can it can be completely misguided and misabused actually, and mistrusted and overcompensated for, because it is such a deep, real emotion. So Lena wears often rooi. So color schemes, including costumes, colors in the costumes are something you can bring in as well. And then natuurlik die laaste idee is the narrative, the symbolisms and the themes in the narrative. I would just bring that throughout your essay in. It's symbolic that they sit, when they were three kids, then when they were three friends, they sit on the train roof. The train can symbolize this connection. It can symbolize this, symbolize the fact that, without the wheels, without each other, it needs elements to be able to work. It can symbolize simply nothing, but there are some symbolisms in certain scenes that you can talk about, and it's stuff that we've discussed. So the themes, very much also remember verraad, liefde, liefdesdriehoek, vergifnis, om 'n enkeling te wees, and those things. Enige vrae? Okay. Kom ons gaan aan. Inleiding. So hier kom ek nou by die inleiding. So what I would suggest you do is jy stel die film voor en sluit kortliks die temas en hoofpunte in. Stel die leser bekend aan die karakters. Formuleer 'n stelling. This is not, you can do this again as an example. You can do this in that size of paragraph. You don't have to overdo it. In Ballade Vir 'n Enkeling. Of kom, soos ek gesê het, kom ondersoek die verdwyning van Jacques in die film Ballade Vir 'n Enkeling. Waar ons temas gaan gesels oor temas gaan gesels van verraad en liefde, of die kompleksiteit van 'n liefdesdriehoek, or whatever you want to say. That, remember, you are now giving an intro to your essay. Everyone's introductions are going to be different, because I set the question up in such a way that you can approach it in your own way. Stel die leser bekend aan die karakters. So you can include some of the characters. You don't have to include every single character in the movie. Just touch base. Die lewe van Jacques, Jan Paul en Lena het onherroepelik, irrevocably verander deur die proses van verraad en liefde, of die kontras tussen liefde en vriendskap, or whatever. So formulate a statement there. This whole thing must be a kind of a statement that you want to support in your essay. So dit kan jou inleiding wees. Daarso is Jan Paul. Ag, soos tog my ou vriend. Goed, filmanalise inhoud, the content of your essay. So that was your introduction, and kind of what you can think of when you, so this is kind of planning, and then introduction, and now we're looking at your a note, the content, the 3 paragraphs. This is in no particular order. I'm just giving you ideas. Let's say you get an image in, and you're going to talk about that in your paragraph 1. And they say you must discuss the mise en scene or whatever. You can remember words like requisita is props. So requisita is simply requisites. Props, it's additional stuff that is included in the scene. Costumes, color schemas, whatever. You can include. You don't have to only include color schemas in the own 1 paragraph. You can also include it in the other paragraphs. This is just a way that if you want to, you can talk about it like that, and then in the next paragraph you can talk about the scene pertaining to that, and then the next paragraph, and then in the exit in the beginning you kind of summarize it. So paragraph 1, let's say they say to you bespreek die mise en scene, then you're going to go, okay, kom ons bespreek die mise en scene. You're thinking of, let's talk about that quickly. We're thinking of the mise en scene includes your color schemes, your costumes, your placements of the props. Okay, so if we look at that scene there, I hope that the Teams window is not showing. What is it, Bella? What's it? If you look at that scene, for instance, that desk lampie, daai tafel liggie is a prop. So you must be able to say, die penne en die penne blikkie en die lampie en die tikmasjien en die papiere of draaiboeke of scripts supports the scene of this main character being a writer, nee, or whatever the case may be. So maak seker you can identify the props and the color schemes and even the lighting you can talk about in your mise en scene. Costumes, requisita mainly, placing of the requisita to emphasize something. And then if you see, you see, I only have 20 words in this paragraph, then you add a camera hook of a klank of a thema of a symboliek. You steal from the others as well. That's fine. Paragraph 2, maybe then they ask you to talk about the lighting and the color schemes in that specific theme. Again, you make mention of the reason and the effects it has, and then if you see you still need words, then you go and you add from the themes or the requisites or whatever the case may be. And same with paragraph 3. Camera hook, and then symbolism and the effects that things can have in that scene perhaps, and if you need more words, then you add belichting and kleurschemas. So just narrow it down for you in the structural sense, in your head, in your planning in your head. So come in with a plan. Don't come in and hope for the best. Come in with a plan and use this as your guidance. Enige vrae aangaande die middel? Hello, what is that? I want to share this video for the world. You can't do that. Okay. Let me just move this because I can't read. There we go. Okay. I'm sure you guys can't see it, but I can see it. Okay. And then I said, onthou om deurgaans throughout jou opstel na die boodskap of temas van die verhaal te verwys. Remember, you can bring in, if you are writing about the color schemes and the lighting in your second paragraph, for instance, then you can bring in this side light of, let's use this scene of Karina. This side, or let's use the scene of him actually. This light is shining directly onto the main character. Highlighting, beklemtoon, dit beklemtoon die feit dat hy is in die kollig. Die storie draai om hom. Hy is die enkeling. And that's it. That's all you have to add. You don't have to babble on too much. Nee. So boodskap, you can also bring in the message. It's okay to make mistakes, or love is complicated, or forgiveness is key, or Mental health is real, the struggle is real. Whatever you think the movie, it can also be what the movie meant for jou. Wat beteken die boodskap? Wat is die boodskap wat jy uit die film gekry het? So anywhere between your 3 paragraphs in the middle, you can bring that in. Perhaps more your personal opinion in die slot. Gee 'n afsluitende gedagte. Give a finishing thought oor die film se impak op jou en waarom jy dit aanbeveel of nie aanbeveel vir ander kykers. Ballade vir Enkeling was 'n hartroerende verhaal van 'n jong man wat as gevolg van omstandighede homself moes vind. En in die proses het hy homself as 'n enkeling aanvaar, net soos ek, or whatever you want to say. So that's basically the structure. You've got your introduction, you've got your 3 paragraphs in the middle, and then you've got your ending. Okay. Kom ons kyk gou. Oh yeah, and then a reminder. Is there any questions before I go on with that? Any questions regarding that? Okay, 'n vriendelike herinnering. Your general vocab and camera hoeke you can find on your purchased study guide by going to film study, and then you navigate down to all of those sub pages. Okay, if you're not sure where to find it, you can go back to your team's assignments and see where we've done that, or you can just send me a message and I can refer you to it. But it is on your study guide that you purchased. Go and I'll show you now the vocab, but you all know where it is because you all were in class. But if you weren't in class, I'll show you. And then here are some resources that I got the images from. So all these images is not my images, so that everyone knows. It's images I took from these sources. And what's nice about these sources, and that's why I'll send you the PDF now, is you can go click on them and they take you to either a review of the movie or some Quizlet practice exercises on camera shots, or an article about the movie. So here they say, afdeling C, derde genre taak, film of kort verhale. We're doing the film, we're not doing the short stories. It's 20 points. Die vereistes, dit moet 'n uitdagende taak wees. So it must be a challenging task. I think mine is challenging, but I think I've prepared you very well for it. That's all I'm going to say. I think they say een toepaslike literêre opstel onder 'n toetsomstandighede. I must write it under test exam situations. Leerders word net een geleentheid aangebied, so you only get one chance for afwesige for learners that are absent. I have to set up a whole new task. So please don't do that to me. I don't have time to set a new task. Kolpunte mag gebruik word. I'm allowed to give you some bullet points in the paragraph suggestions, and that's what I did this time, where I didn't do that in the previous years, and I think that's what made it more difficult for them. So this time I've actually set some bullet points for you to think, to help you structure your essay. But they say these bullets are not allowed to be the same function or fulfill the same function as in your literature essay about Donkerweb. So you'll see with your literature essay Donkerweb, I'll bullet point everything, and every bullet point gets a mark, and you have to answer that bullet point. It's very weird. Whereas with this one, it's a bit more free. You can kind of, which helps, which it's not much nicer. I like it more like that. It's much more open for interpretation, whereas your literature essay is not so much. I'm allowed to give you research, but not the assignment, which I did, which is in your study guide and previous examples, and we did exercises in that class as well. Geen hulpmiddels mag ingebring word nie. Nothing. You're not allowed to bring anything in. Just that's why I'm saying, learn your vocab, study your sentences, and and build on that. Minimum woordtelling 250, and the maximum I can decide. That's why I'm saying just keep it under 400. So if you go over 350, doesn't matter, but just don't go 500, because I'm going to stop eventually. I have to mark 80 students. That takes a while. I want to get your stuff quickly back to you. And I've done I will also share with you my marking guidelines afterwards, along with your rubric. Okay. they go on and they give some guidelines here. They say it is important to realize that it is not enough that the learner only knows the character and the role of the characters. The learner must also be able to explain how the director, you know, developed a character or portrays the character and suggests a certain theme. So that's what we did, né? There is being expected of there isn't expected of the learner to become verstrengel, meaning caught up in unfitting and in very esoterical role film terminologies, but that you must be able to show some form of visual literacy. Okay, if that makes sense. When learners talk and write about films, there must be proof that the medium and that they understand the medium and techniques, and also show some insight in the and show some insight in the manner in which the director developed the meaning of the picture, of the film. They must be able to use film language and terminologies sinful. It must make sense. Again, you can't say between head and shoulder. It's tussen kop en skouer shot. No, it's not a kop and skouer shot. It's a shoulder. It's a head shot or a eye level shot. Or if you say shoulder shot, then you can't say this shoulder shot makes us feel very distant. No, it doesn't. It must make sense. And you must be able to show some form of concept and understanding of different camera shots, movements and angles. You can include that. I'm including that all under angles. That's fine. And the function thereof. So you must say this close-up forces the viewer to be included, or this has the effect of inclusiveness. How light and color is being presented, how role and costuming and makeup and facial expressions are being used, the use of and effects of sound effects, and the relationship between the visual aspects are between them, if you're going to mention that. The editing of all the different frames, and proof of any above technical film knowledge that has been discussed. Okay, so that's exactly what we did. So if you go to your online study guide, remember, okay, this was the storyline. Remember these ones. Like, go over this again, use some of these sentences, go and look at that. Go do the woordblom and see if you can get more words. Go and check the camera shots and what these shots might give effects for. There's the lack of vocab list. Go over that, learn that, use that. Remember how we kind of analyze the scene. Do this again. Go revise this. Why not? You know, go see what my feedback was. And if I was rude to you, I apologize. Don't take it personally. It's nothing personal. If I said, what is this? This is unacceptable, then you must know it's just me being like, no, you can do better. Okay, so go on your study guide and go to film study and go over all of that. Go listen to the theme song again. Immerse yourself in this movie. Go watch the scenes that we were speaking about, just to kind of get yourself into it again. Okay.